Hey everybody, it's Ryan Metzler here again, and today we're going to talk about another worker placement game. This time we are going to talk about Argent, the Consortium from Level 99 Games. In this game, each player is a professor at an academy for wizards, and they are trying to get votes from various consortium members in order to win the game. So here you can see the components for Argent, the Consortium, all set up for a 4-player game. Now, as you can tell, there is a lot going on here. So note that this will not be a full rules overview. It's just going to be kind of a general idea of how the game plays. You'll note that each player is going to be represented by their own little board here. This is your mage, and it comes with a card on it, which will start you with your level 1 spell. When you have this card, basically it's a card that you can use throughout the game that kind of dictates who you are and what your special ability is. So this character has Strength of the Earth as a spell. They can spend 1 mana, and it will allow them to move another player in a room that they'd like to place into, and then place on their spot. In addition, each player is going to get some mages to start the game. You'll see that I have 2 green, 2 purple, and a red. These 2 green are default because I am the green mage. The other ones were drafted in a pre-game drafting round. You also start with some money, some mana, 2 intelligence and 2 wisdom, which you'll use to learn spells, and then this character is the start player and has some tokens for marking things out on the board. Also, out here on the kind of voting or consortium board, each player has placed one of their marks onto one of these hidden voter cards. There are 10 face-down voters and 2 face-up voters. These are what you're trying to win by the end of the game. So for example, this one here is the most influence. Whoever has the most IP or influence points by the end of the game will get the vote of this character, which is essentially 1 point towards winning. The other face-up one is most supporters. So whoever has accumulated the most supporters throughout the game will get the vote of this one, which is 1 point towards winning. Obviously, having the most votes will win you the game. Each of these 10 face-down ones is a different condition. So for example, we'll just look at one. Green here placed their mark out on most diversity, which will let them look at this card. Now they, and only they, know what this card is. And it says whoever has the most different types of supporters and different types of spells is going to get this person's vote. So you want to get some diversity there. And there are different conditions. It could be most treasure, most gold, most whatever, or just most diversity in various different things. Whatever it is, you'll try and learn them throughout the game by placing your marks out through various actions. Now the way this game is going to work is it's basically a worker placement game that happens after you've done all of this setup. And each player is going to have their workers which have different abilities based on their color. It could be that they're able to attack other mages, eliminating them from spots and taking their spots over. Or it could be that they're safe from attack with the green mages. Purple mages can be placed as what you call a fast action, whereas things like gray mages can be placed after you cast a spell, kind of as a bonus additional action. So there are various different types of things. Blue mages are safe from spells. They can't be hit by them. So dependent on what mages you have and how you use them, you can get different effects in the game. In the game, you're going to be, as I said, using worker placement in order to take actions, but on your turn there are several things you can do. So the first type of action you can do is, of course, to take and place a worker. On your turn, you get 1 fast action and 1 regular action, so 2 total actions, unless you earn more somehow. A fast action can be anything with a little lightning bolt symbol next to it. So for example, the ability of the purple mages is a fast action. You could place them as a fast action. It could be also a spell that has the fast action icon. Whatever it is, it's a quick action that you can do before your other action. After you've done that quick action, you'll be able to do a regular action, and that can be one of many things. It could be placing a regular worker that doesn't get placed as a fast action. It could be using a spell, which you'll earn throughout the game. Those cost mana, which you will spend, in order to use the effect of whatever level spell you've earned. It could be using one of these vault cards, which are consumables or treasures that you can use in order to get special effects, or it could be using the ability of a supporter. And all of these different things, spells, vault cards, and supporters, kind of work the same way. They'll even have similar effects, gaining you points, money, allowing you to convert one thing into another, allowing you to place a mage or wound to somebody else's mage, whatever it might be. There are tons and tons of different effects on these cards that I simply can't cover all of them on. But place a worker, use any one of these 3 cards, or you may go ahead and take one of the bell tower cards, which all grant you an immediate effect and are somewhat like timers for the end of the round. When the last one's taken, the round will end, and you'll see that there are 4 of them here. Now, let's go and cover these actions a little bit, but mostly let's cover the worker placement aspect. Each of these rooms out here has different areas that you may place onto, and they're represented by these little circles with the banners next to them. These little places are going to give you different things dependent on where you place on them. So for example, I can place on this tile if I'd like to learn or earn intelligence or wisdom. Intelligence and wisdom are learned to learn spells, or used to learn spells, and also to level them up so that they have better abilities. On the next one, you can gain mana dependent on various different statistics, or you can learn and get marks. Marks are going to be the things that let you see what the various votes are going to be. And so anytime you earn a mark, you'll place it on onto one of these guys, and you'll see what their characteristics or what their criteria are for giving out their vote. You could gain IP straight out, or get the chance to look at various vault cards or supporter cards. You can get a draft from one of these vault or supporter card decks, or you can simply gain buys, which will allow you to buy things from the vault. You can even go ahead and go and look and see, like maybe you want to gain some research. Research is what's going to allow you to use your learning, your intelligence, or your wisdom to gain spells. And so without research, you can't ever gain spells, and you can never get better levels. Note that research is not a physical token. It simply allows you to use your intelligence and wisdom to gain and learn spells at higher levels. So as you can clearly tell, there's a lot going on, but basically your turn boils down to 1 fast action, anything with a lightning bolt, there we go, and 1 regular action, which is simply placing a guy or using any one of your cards or taking one of these. Now we started to talk about placing, and each of the rooms, like I said, does something different. There's tons of different ones. There's even a room for when you get injured and kicked off by one of the red guys. But when you place your workers, you can place them on any one of these spots. So I could place this here, I could place it here, I could even place it on one of the ones with these little marks on it. You'll see that it has an A on it, and this is a merit badge, which you will earn by increasing your IP. When you pass the little merit badges on the board, you gain one of these little merit badge things, and it'll allow you to use these spots. You don't need the merit badge to place on there, but you do need it when you remove your worker in order to activate the space. So everyone's going to go around the table taking actions, be it placing guys, using spells, using cards, or taking one of the bell tower cards, until everybody has essentially cleared out these bell tower cards, at which point the round will end. So you'll be trying to efficiently use all of your guys in order to place them out onto the board, in order to use your spells, your consumables, whatever it might be. Once you're done with this, you're going to start resolving each of these top to bottom and left to right down across this board. So of course the infirmary will be last, the library second to last, whereas the training fields will be first. You'll remove your workers from here and get whatever bonus it says that you get. You'll note there are spaces next to each of these that have little ghosts on them. The ghosts are shadowing spaces, and if you have an ability called shadowing, which you can earn from spells or various other cards in the game, you're allowed to place next to somebody else's worker and take the action right after they do. So this is a great way to get an action that may already be filled up, but you'd like to take. So as you do this, you're going to clear everything out, you're going to resolve the end of the round, and then you're going to go ahead and start a new round. Of course, clearing everything up, you'll clear all of these piles and deal them back out. You'll unexhaust any cards you've used, so as you use spells or non-consumable treasures, you will be exhausting them. You'll unexhaust any of those spells, unflip any merit badges you used, and start another round. And of course, you're going to play 5 rounds this way, 6 if you're playing the epic game, so you'd move on to round 2 and start all over again. At the end of the game, you're going to resolve all of these cards, the ones you know and the ones you don't, and you're going to see who has the most of each thing, or the most diversity in each thing, or it could be who has the most research, who got the most spells and leveled them up the most. And at the end of the game, whoever manages to accumulate the most voters is going to be the winner. And there you have it. That is Argent, the Consortium by Level 99 Games. I have a lot of very, very good things to say about this game. I played it at BGG-Con. I don't believe it was last year, but the year before. It was kind of in its prototype stages at the time. And I won my game at that point, so I was pretty excited about the game because, you know, winning makes everything better. But overall, I think from that point, everything came together very, very well. The prototype was already very good, and the final product is great as well. This game has a ton of things going for it. The first is that the board is modular, so you can set this board up with different rooms. Each room has 2 sides, so when you set it up in that manner, you can choose which side you'd like to use, and that will of course change the game every time. In addition, the professor or whoever it is that you're playing that you choose has a different ability based on which side you choose on that, so that can vary from game to game. There are so many spells and treasures and supporters and various things that you can use throughout the game as an action that make it always kind of different from game to game. And then on top of that, each of the different workers does something different in the game. So the red workers can attack other workers, the green workers are safe from being attacked, the blue workers are immune to spells, and so forth and so on. So it depends on what you draft throughout the game and what you're able to acquire, what you might be able to do. That, coupled with the fact that the criteria of the consortium voters changes, and which ones you know may or may not benefit you throughout the game, just makes it such a variable game that I think it's going to last for quite a long time. And there's already an expansion for it that I simply haven't played. But I'm hoping that that just keeps more of the same going on, and it just makes it more diverse in terms of how the game can be set up every time. So if you're looking for a kind of unique worker placement game with a hidden goal aspect where you can acquire more information about what the hidden goals are, but really results in kind of diversifying what you've done throughout the game in order to gain a certain number of votes in order to have the majority by the end, I think that Argent is an excellent choice. I'm really excited with what Level 99 has done here, and definitely think that anyone who's interested in this genre of game should check this one out. So there you have it. That's Argent, the Consortium.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.